afternoon, YouTube and YTPC. How are you all doing? We've had a week of glorious weather here in Switzerland. Not too hot, blue sky, not much wind, and it was just like what we used to call in Britain an Indian summer. It means that it's late, it's almost getting into, or is in autumn now, but it's just so comfortable and not much humidity, and that's really lovely. Just thought I'd do an update on a few things. So wearing my little jacket at the moment because I was sent a medal from Michael Case. Thank you, Mike, very much. This is actually a Swiss Federation National Shooting Medal, and in Switzerland a lot of people collect these from the sort of local or national tournaments. This one was from 1978 in Toggenburg in Appenzell, and it's really lovely. It's got a guy there, you can just see it in a national costume with, of course, a pipe. So I'm going to add that to the other two medals I've got, the Waterloo one and the one from the Wellington's Indian campaigns. And should I have occasion to dress up like this again, I will put those on as well. Well, Mike also sent me this lovely book, which is, I don't know if I've mentioned that before, about the Japanese Inn. This was written in 1962 from Oliver Statler, and he's a guy who travelled extensively and researched the history and culture of Japan, and particularly it's about the Japanese tea house. You know, if you've ever seen the tea house of the August Moon with Marlon Brando, it touches a bit on the importance of the tea house, which is where the geishas were, and where a man would go to soothe his soul if he'd had a hard day or something, a bit like the pub in Britain, you know. But it goes centuries back, and I've just actually finished going through this book, which really tells you how the tea house is entwined in many episodes of the history. Too long to do it justice in this video, but there are fantastic illustrations in this book, and all of those were done in wood and printed, and some of the real masters of these illustrations, for example, I noted from The Great Wave, the same artist is here with many of his drawings. There are many other ones, and some of them are very exquisite, you know, about the geisha life and everyday Japanese life. It's quite fascinating. I'll probably return to this book and read parts of it again at some point in the future. I promised my wife actually that we would do a holiday sometime in Japan when all this COVID stuff is over. Let's see. The other thing is, Mike, thank you very much for these lovely little type notes. So Mike has a Remington Rand 1960 typewriter, but apparently a dozen others, and he wrote these little notes for me to find, like, I find this book a good read, I hope you find it is the same. Indeed it is, absolutely. And with the medal, he gave me all the details on this little note. Marvellous. That it was the Volksschießen, which is the Swiss national shooting competition, 1978, and that's a farmer in traditional Swiss costume, as I mentioned. So thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that. So what else has happened? I've been decorating my shed. I'll show you a few things that I've got already in place, and some things which are to come. So, but first of all, housekeeping. My manners. I forgot housekeeping. This is an Oldencott pipe, and I got that from PP&M Pipes, Pens and More. Good old Mike in Serbia, who did recently some of his estate pipes that he's offering on YouTube, and I got this one from him, and it's a very nice condition Oldencott. I always wanted one of those, sort of almost part of German pipe history. Oldencott, not that expensive pipes, but they're, I find, beautifully made, and they smoke very, very well. In it I have some recent tobacco I got, Kendal Flake. Kendal Flake I got from Smoking Pipes with that half a container load of Garwyth and Hogarth tobacco that they got recently, and they still got some of it on their site, but I may not buy any more tobacco. I've got enough for 30 years, and I really just got this one because I thought I know I will love it. It's a beautiful tobacco with a very complex topping of rum, whiskey, almonds and cocoa, and there's like 10 things that go on. Of course, a bit of the Lakeland essence, you know, is in there as well, but very fine tobaccos, and it's just on the edge of the nick limit for me, because, as you know, I take medium okay, but if it's a bit higher than that, I feel it. So it's a sort of one, I'll just have a bowl of that if I have it in a day and not more. But it's exquisite tobacco, absolutely. So I got 4 ounces, and that will be cherished on special occasions. I thought to actually dilute it a little bit with some Black Cavendish to reduce the nick hit and smooth it out slightly, but mainly to reduce the nicotine. I might experiment with that. We'll have to see. Well, as to the shed, let me show you. As you can hear, I'm listening to a bit of radio, classical music. Well, you've seen this magnet board before, but Tom Tough Flake is new. I love that tin, it's marvellous. I smoke my pipe and sing old songs, cool and sweet smoking, Tom Tough, rich old flake. It's fascinating. I don't know if anyone can ever remember that brand. It's probably very old. Another one I got is Jean-Jacques Hugo, and that is that's actually a make that was made in Basel, Switzerland, and he started in 1778, and he moved to Switzerland from Paris in the 1850s, and this was a 1928 Jubileum tobacco. I mean, that's really old. That's like 90 years old. Bit more than that, and it's engraved and etched onto the metal, so even though the metal has gone a bit through the walls, it's still very clear that you can see Jean-Jacques Hugo, and that was taken over by the family Neff, which you see on the right side of the text. in Basel, and they move into what was the paper factory, which was one of the oldest in Europe at the time, and now it's a museum. You can still see that museum. But he actually had his tobacco production in the same location. I wonder if they know that there. I'm going to ask them about it. So there's a piece of Basel history which I got that one for. I've got a half and half here, but I got that from Switzerland. Somebody had one of those, and I got that on Ricardo. Generally they'll cost you about sort of 15 to 20 francs here with the postage. So they're a little bit pricey to get these kind of tins in Switzerland. But I found another source which I will tell you about shortly. Then I got from America a couple of velvet tins, the big ones. This is the 1930s from Liggett and Myers Tobacco Company, and that's apparently typical tin from the late 30s, and here one from the late 50s or 60s. Liggett and Myers still in St. Louis, Missouri, and very good condition. So I was pretty happy to get those for you know, by the time you get them over here it's almost like 30 francs, you know, with shipping and everything. But a piece of history. So, and I always think the velvet tins are particularly attractive. So I think the other ones you've seen there, a few more that I've got, and I've been putting magnets everywhere now. There's the Bondman one. I think you've seen Rich Dark Honeydew and Revelation. One on the right is new. Rossum's Kilt Mixture. If anybody has heard of these tobaccos, I would be interested to know what you know about them. That says Krullschnitt, which is probably meaning it's a German or continental band. And another one I got here is this Convoy Dark Flake, which is a beautiful tin, and that and the Tom Tough, they were probably at least 100 grams, maybe 200 gram tins. Very nice. Got those two from a guy in the UK. Usually they're antique shops who are sort of selling them. What else have I done in the shed? I have made myself this Kentucky Club poster, just printing that out and putting it on a piece of cardboard, because to buy them as plaques, the plaques themselves are not that expensive on the internet, but it's the shipping. So if I can't get them in Europe or with low shipping, maybe that's a solution. That's my old New Jersey Garden State number plate. We actually brought the car over with us from America when we came back to Switzerland. There's a story about that, because you're allowed to wear a foreign number plate for a year, and of course sometimes the police really asks us questions about what on earth is that number plate, to which I would reply, I think I took a wrong turn at the George Washington Bridge, perhaps, officer. So that's another addition. And then I found in the cellar, I was cleaning out a whole shelf and threw a whole load of boxes away, and sure enough I found this, which I bought in America in 1995, and it was still packed and I'd forgotten about it. So I put it on the shed door, and of course my old Union Jack had to get in there some way, didn't it? So those are new. And over here I've realised I can put some coloured lights up, which I think always gives it a sort of jovial atmosphere. More for winter, of course. Got a set over there. And you know, things are coming along. So far so good, but I've got some other tins which haven't arrived yet, but I can show you what they look like here. Quite a lot of them, aren't there? I must have bought 20 tins, but I found a really good shop in Scotland, right in the north of Scotland, called a place in Rogart, Scotland, and Sophie runs this antique shop. It's called Wee Vintage Vibes, and it's an Etsy shop, and I put the link below because that's the first place I've seen that you can get for four quid or something, £4 or about £5, a really good choice of tins and reasonable shipping if you do 3 or 4 or 5 at a time. So I bought about 20 tins from her, you know, because they were largely in really good condition. You know, some cost a bit more if they're rare, or you know, depending on condition, but actually the prices were some of the best I've seen, comparing eBay or Etsy for those kind of things, if you're interested. And she has a lot. At the moment she still has 260 articles in the Tabacchiana, and most of those are tins, you know. It won't beat, of course, what you can pick up at a car boot sale for 50p, but we don't have really those in Switzerland, so and I think, you know, you don't so often maybe find an attractive one that way, but you know, it's an alternative in case anyone is also collecting these tins, and fairly affordable, I thought. And Sophie is very friendly and helpful, you know, in terms of if you want to bundle up a shipping, or if you've got a special interest or something like that. Well, another thing actually I wanted to tell you about is, have you ever seen a crane being built by a crane? So I woke up one morning, there was a lot of noise outside. I thought, what is going on out there? It's not the bells, it's not the neighbours. And well, take a look, this is what I saw. That is going on. A crane is building a crane. Can you believe it? I think there's a new house project over there, and the accessibility is not good for large objects, so they put this crane in. At least I'm hoping it will only be that. But it's amazing to watch this thing be built. There's one man in that tower. Let's see if I can focus on him. There he is, you see him? And he's banging away, and each section he secures and puts on top of the other one. He must have a good head for heights, that guy. Well, I just hope that is not I just hope that is not a new bell tower or a minaret. But it's going to be noisy for a good many months, I guess. With the building work over there. Still something new every day, isn't there? And the construction, look at that crane that actually builds the crane, it's incredible. The other thing it could be is one of those G5 microwave towers which will fry all the brains in about a kilometre distance from it. But I think it's more likely they're building a house. So now the crane is built, and it is a crane. It's not a bell tower or a minaret. And there is a house being built there with difficult access approaches, so that's why they put this crane up. It's going to be quite a luxury house probably if it needs that crane, and we'll see how it gets on, but now it's built and we'll go into action before too long. Well, I hope they'll finish that building before winter. Now the other thing is, I've been remiss again. Since 1,000 subs, I've got 280 new ones, and I really desperately wanted to say thank you to as many of those as I can. So I went through and looked in the analytics who are the new subscribers from about March this year, where I'd reached the 1,000 level, and I can only see, of course, the public subscribers. So if you're not a public subscriber, if you've hidden your identity, I can't identify you on these lists I'm going to show. I found about 160 almost, and I've written those out, and I would like to put them on the wall of fame, as I say, to say thank you everybody. Thank you for your interest and support in my channel, and that you like it is enough of a reward for me that you're willing to subscribe, and I do appreciate it. I will try to do this a little bit more regularly and not leave it so long, but as you know, life gets in the way sometimes. But here are my shout outs to all 160 that I could identify of new subscribers. Thank you, all of you. So if anyone was a public subscriber and I've missed him, I apologise. I did try to check thoroughly, but if I did miss you, let me know and I will make sure you're mentioned in one of my next videos for sure. Talking of which, I probably will squeeze one more video in this week, and then I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks because we're going on holiday. Can you believe finally you can travel in Europe? I've even booked some time for the UK. I hope that's going to work. Switzerland's on the green list. Hooray! So the UK I can do, but we're going for a couple of weeks to Italy, to Elba, and I may take a little bit of footage there to share our experiences with you. But I won't be making videos during that time. Promised my wife I would, you know, concentrate on her and us and being in Italy. So I'm really looking forward to that because I always love my stays in Italy. But just so you know, don't worry if you don't see anything for 2 weeks, that's the reason. Well, I think that's all the updates I wanted to mention. I hope you're all doing all right and soldiering on despite the many adversities out there of hurricanes and COVID and all kinds of other worries that are about. But keep piping and keep in contact with YTPC, and all will be well over time. Take care everyone, look after yourselves, bye bye.